My name is Aaron Gross, and I am the Chief Resilience Officer for the City of Los Angeles in the Office of Mayor Eric Garcetti. I said as my explanation of what I'll be talking about is helping government improve people's lives as a tool of good, currently by helping people build a more resilient and sustainable and connected city. The original title of that slide was actually going to be helping people fix stuff and explain stuff the government does, but that sounded a little more professional. So I was told to talk about something that I'm passionate about, and I'll get back into where my passion has led me. But to begin with, just to give you a little bit of a sense of my passion is government. I've worked for government for about 20 years in various capacities, and it comes from my background, where I came from. The town of Moraga is my town that I grew up in. You might wonder why Ronald Reagan is on here for a left-leaning crowd. It's actually not Ronald Reagan. This guy right here is my father, and he was one of the original council members of my town. Oh wow, that goes quick. But you saw another number of folks that inspired me. But now my inspiration has led me back to the mayor's office to work on resilience. The Resilient Los Angeles Plan, it was released in 2018. It's a gigantic plan prioritizing our most vulnerable people and places and systems to try to build a more resilient Los Angeles. We have a huge city with a lot of different people, but there's a lot of opportunities in this city. We own our own port, we own our own utility, we own our own airport, and so we have the ability to do a lot to help the city be more resilient for the people who live here. In looking into creating a plan, we looked at the different stressors that the city had. And there are a ton of things that can go wrong in a city that's 365 square miles. We go from the beach to the mountains. We go from San Pedro all the way up to Pacoima. There can be earthquakes, there can be floods and fires, extreme heat and drought. And how do you make a plan for all of these things? But we tried. We ended up putting together a plan that has 4 chapters and 15 goals and 96 actions. The goals range from education to emergency preparedness, to cultivating leadership and financial literacy, and creating policies and codes to make the city more resilient. We want to have affordable housing and good jobs. We want to make the city more resilient in terms of earthquake, in terms of flood, in terms of any stressor that may come up. So one of the ways we look at things is what the city can do, the stuff that the city can do. As you may know, the city has created ordinances to require that buildings that are not seismically fit are required to become seismically fit. We're looking to localize our water so we can rely on water from local sources. We're changing out our pipes at DWP to make them more earthquake resistant. Cool pavement we're putting around the city to try to minimize the urban heat island effect. But the city can't do everything. The city can do a lot of stuff with partners. And so here's some examples of what we're looking to do with these 96 goals that the city can do some, but there are ones like studies that the city has to do with partners. This one was a UCLA study that talked about how many heat days there's going to be over 100 degrees. Car sharing programs that help minimize our carbon footprint of the city. Technology is something that the city can only do part of. Our ITA department has done amazing work with information technology and the Shake Alert LA app, but we can't make sure that, we can't do all of it. I will close with, and we'll answer more questions later, but really my point here is to say that there are so many things that we need to do in the city to become a resilient city, and the city will do what we can, but the reason I come to speak at things like this and to speak to you and to speak to groups is to encourage people to do what they can do to help us make a more resilient city. So, thank you.